And both of these guys,
both of these guys are volunteers.
No doubt.
Sure.
Yes, we are. Good evening, Ryan in Sacktown, joined by Jerry Reynolds. Grant will be joining us here in just a couple of minutes. The Kings make it 14 in a row, headed into the All-Star break on the negative side. Jerry, the three-point shooting woes continue for the Beam team.
Well, that's one of the things that continues about everything else. I mean, that was just an awful game. There you can't. I mean, that was just from the middle of the second quarter on. It was just a joke, if anything, and embarrassing. The 14 straight losses ties a franchise or breaks a franchise record, I think, of 77 years.
Oh, wow. So this would be the entire franchise record.
Yeah, it goes back to Rochester and everything. I think it may just tie it, but it's still, it's like, what? Who saw this coming? I mean.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Jerry, as we wait for Grant, he'll be here in a second. We'll talk about the Kings in a minute. I want to ask you about Utah with Jaren Jackson Jr. And yeah, they've got guys sitting out right now, but they were already the biggest team in the NBA. Now they're even bigger.
Yeah, obviously with Jackson Jr. and Markkanen, that's really a formidable pair. Then Walker Kessler, of course, is out. I mean, I almost think they might be too big. They really could use, the proverbial small forward, really athletic kind of guy. In my mind, I think with Kessler, if in fact they bring him back, I don't know. They might try to move him to get what they need, but unless you've got an absolute great point guard, which I'm not sure they do. I mean, now. George didn't play tonight. Who's actually been their best player, by the way, not Markkanen. Yeah. And so it was a case of, obviously Kings didn't play a lot of guys, but they didn't have two of their top five guys available either.
So, well, I'm joining a little bit late. I don't really have a lot to add to the game other than the fact that I'm glad it ended. And you knew it was going to be tough sledding when you saw all the Kings players that didn't play. And I don't know if I've missed the commentary on Nick Clifford or not.
No.
But he's failing this test miserably in terms of consistency. And he's getting these opportunities now, and he'll still have a lot of opportunities, and he can still, make this into a very positive season, depending on what he does after the All-Star break. But just based on a sample size, which may not be fair to judge him on, by the way, he's not a starter in this league right now. He's just not, and I'm okay with that, but he's not a starting player in the NBA as of February 11th, 2026.
No, I totally agree with that. I mean, I think there's plenty of time to evaluate, but I don't think he's ever shown to me that he's a starting player on a 50+ win team, which is still the way, in my mind, way you got to look at it. Say, could he be a starter on a 30-win team? Sure. But, what's the point of that? And so he's got a ways to go. And like I say, consistency is probably the biggest thing. You just can't have the 20-point night and the 2-point night. You'll never have a consistent winner with key guys performing like that.
Yeah, I'll point out a positive because both of you are spot on. His defense doesn't usually affect his offense and vice versa. I like what I see on that side of the court. Tonight was obviously not great. I just think it's time, and Jerry, you pointed this out last show, that Doug Christie needs to, coming out of the break, reevaluate and reassign roles for the rest of the season to this team. And if I'm Doug, I'm telling him and Devin Carter, I'm handing over the backcourt to you guys. This is your runway. Make the most of it. And hopefully that will give us a better idea of a sample size. And Jerry, how hard is it to find continuity when you're these random groups being thrown together and now tonight being asked to play an entire game for the most part?
Well, you can't have it. I mean, that's the point. I mean, you can't have it till you have it. I mean, so I agree with your point. I mean, after the All-Star break, you got 6 games left. And so they really should say, these are the guys we're going to play. It's your two guys' job at the guard line. You're going to play most of the minutes, and this is how we're going to play. And and see what you can learn. The thing that struck me a little bit, and see what you guys think. It looks to me more and more as I watch Clifford that I just don't know that he's got the quickness to be a lead guard. He's got nice defensive size and he's got skill, but I think Carter can get to the basket much better than Clifford.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, with Carter, you just hope his outside shooting improves. But I mean, he has the ability to get to the basket and finish pretty well. And so I would like to see him going forward with those two guys. Okay, Carter, you're going to try to, you need to become the lead guard here and see where that takes us.
And you can't teach quickness. I mean, that is what it is. That's who he is, and that's fine. And that's probably why he was, taken where he was taken in the draft and not higher. But I'm with you on that. I mean, call it foot speed, call it whatever you want. He doesn't have that. Now, he has a lot of other attributes that hopefully he'll be able to put together. And again, I'm not killing the guy. It's his first year. And I mean, the sample size I need more of. But, like when I look at here's the difference. When I look at Max Ryno, I can say to myself, okay, I can see him being a starter in the NBA. I don't see Nick Clifford being a starter in the NBA right now. I mean, that could change a year from now, or who knows? It may change in the final 26 games. But right now, he's not a starter. And that's fine. That, you don't have to be a starter in the league to be a really good player. You can still be a good player and be a role player coming off the bench. So let's not bury him that way, but it is what it is.
And if not for the injuries, Max Ryno probably never has the opportunity to prove that. Now, Neek was the guy coming into the season that we thought would be in the rotation. And I don't think the coaching staff has done him any favors when it comes to, again, defining a role, how to fit in, what we want you to do. He might not be quick enough for the game, but I don't think the game is too quick for him mentally. And he seems to make the right play and covet the ball more times than not, Jerry.
Yeah, he's got a good enough skill. And I agree with, what Grant said. I mean, there's no reason to believe he can't be a player in the league. And right now I don't know why you'd even be concerned whether he can be a 35-minute guy or not. That's not even important.
Right.
I mean, really, by the end of the year, you'd like to have an idea if you think he could be more than a 7th, 8th man, which is really kind of what he really is right now. And you'd like to know more. And I agree with your point on Ryno. He wasn't very good today, but nobody was. But he's been pretty consistent. That's one thing about him. I mean, for the most part, he's been pretty darn solid. And, there's reason to believe, in my mind, he could be a starter on a good team. I mean, he's got a ways to go for sure.
I think it's pretty obvious that the Kings are going to have one of the top 4 picks in the draft coming up. So really what it boils down to is, take the right guy. And I can almost guarantee you that out of the top 4 players taken in the draft, within a year to 3 years, that team will be wishing they had taken the other player. So it happens every year. There's
it happens every year. Yeah. I mean, there's very seldom is there LeBron James or Wembanyama's, where it's a clear number one, nobody can screw it up. But it's like this year's draft. I mean, from a talent standpoint, Peterson looks like the most talented, but yet is he ever going to be available enough?
Right.
And I mean, at some point, if you want to build a franchise around a guy, the last thing you want is a guy that is not going to be available half the time.
Yeah, I'm not taking him right now. I already said that today on the radio show. Out of the four guys, I'm not even looking at him. I'm just not. I'm not going that way. And Scott Pollard's going to be coming on next week. And I'll tell you one thing about Scott. He's never been wrong yet about a Kansas basketball player going from Kansas into the NBA. Every player that he is evaluated from Kansas, he is batting 1,000. So I'm going to have him on next week. He watches Kansas play every game. He's tied in with the program. I want to get his opinion on Peterson, and that's going to sway my opinion. I will tell you that right now.
That's a great point. I mean, and you're right. I know over the years, I mean, Scott has been dead on, where he's said Ben McLemore is not the guy,
Right. And he said Thomas Robinson's not the guy. He said Thomas Robinson will not be able to play in the NBA because he doesn't really have a position. And he said whoever takes him will be very disappointed.
And
He told me that about Jimmer Fredette too. We were at the Marriott Sports Bar in Indianapolis watching Jimmer play in the NCAA tournament for BYU, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, well, wouldn't it be great to have him?" He goes, "You don't want him." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, his game will not translate into the NBA." I'm like, "Come on." He goes, "He won't be able to get a shot off in the NBA. Look at him." He goes, "Watch him play. It will not translate into the NBA." Well, guess what? It didn't translate into the NBA.
But it sold a lot of jerseys.
Yeah.
Well, in fairness to Jimmer, it's all true, everything you said. But there's guys who are stars in the NBA go to China and can't do anywhere near what he's done.
No, that's true. Very true.
I mean, really, it was a case of, I think, he had just enough athleticism and ability to free up where there's a little less quickness and athletic, where he could dominate just like he did in college. But anyway, I mean, because when you average 37, 8 points for years in that league, and it's still. Yeah. Anyway, Jimmer, it didn't work. That's for sure.
Let's talk about a guy that hasn't really had a position with the Kings because he's one of those combo guards. Devin Carter. You both have mentioned it over the last couple shows. He's able to get to where he wants to go. But Jerry, can he polish his offensive game enough to be a guy that fits?
Well, that is the big question, and I think these last 25 games, if nothing else, if you could find that out. To see if he can make enough progress. Because right now, he's, basically all the way to the basket or nothing almost. Yeah. He doesn't have a little pull-up game. His three-point shot is inconsistent. So it's shooting and offensive. I mean, defensively, I think he's pretty close now. He's not an instinctive playmaker. That's another thing. I mean, is he ever going to be a great playmaker? Well, you haven't seen that. So there's a ways to go, but I think there's a player there. We just don't know. You can't know just what level he might be yet.
Jerry.
Well, the Kings get blown out in the final game before the All-Star break, and I think everybody can't wait to go their separate ways and then get back next week. And it is indeed the stretch drive. And as Ryan said, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens, because Keegan Murray, in all likelihood, will be cleared to play next week, and Sabonis is obviously okay to play. So what are the Kings going to do? What direction are they going to go in with Levine, with DeRozan, with Sabonis? And stay tuned, as they say.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because I'm sure the league is looking at all these teams.
Sure.
And if you're not injured, you're supposed to be playing your best guys.
That's right.
And so, and the Kings are among 4 or 5 teams doing a lot of. The fact is, the Jazz had been doing that, setting their main guys out down the stretch. Now they did tonight, but they had to.
The game was over at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, it was a different deal, but so I think they were kind of on report coming into this game a little bit.
I think we can all. I agree. I would say that Keegan Murray is going to play however many minutes Keegan Murray wants to play, because this season has, as you guys have pointed out, been a lost one because of injuries for him. But to me, Jerry, Domantas Sabonis is the really interesting one, especially if you're Scott Perry and you're thinking about moving him in this off season. Would you start Domas and only play him 20, 25 minutes? How would you handle that, Coach?
That's a great question. I mean, I think if you're going to play him, you want to start him. He's Domas Sabonis. He's earned that. But I certainly think you'd want to control his minutes for a lot of reasons. I mean, you want to make sure that everybody sees he still is healthy and can produce like he's always done. But certainly, you've got 2 young bigs that you want to make sure they're getting minutes. And so it'd be the time to sit down with Domas and say, look, this is our plan. Obviously we're going to try to, he has to know that, but we're going to try to make a deal for you in the off season. So we're going to control your minutes and hopefully you'll be a good teammate and produce and be who you are, who you've always been, and go from there.
Yeah, it's not going to be a pleasant couple of weeks here for the veterans. That's for darn sure. It's not going to be any fun for them. I'm not saying it's going to be fun for the young players, but everyone likes to play and they're going to get a chance to play. If you're a vet on this team right now, it's probably going to be, you can't wait until game 82, you're going to be checking off every day on the calendar as one day closer to freedom.
Maybe
Yeah,
you don't
man.
come back from the All-Star break. You just stay on whatever island that you're on.
See, what's going to be interesting too to me is like with Hunter, just what his injury status is, how
Yep.
long, you know, because you'd like to see some more from him.
Sure.
And Keegan and Precious and Lawson or whatever. And I mean, you know, so a lot of guys, a lot of things to be evaluated. And quite honestly, I think several of the people that we're seeing play now, by the end of the year, you might not want to see them play next year.
Well,
Can you guys hear me all right? Ryan, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, just really muffled.
Okay, I'll fix it. Thank you.
Yep.
I
think
like him. I like him muffled, Brian. Don't
yeah,
you
it is
know?
a little bit different, right?
Yeah, keep him muffled.
Jerry, that's not very nice. You know, I was very
There
nice
we
to you
go.
last week on your birthday, and now you know you're not being, or 2 weeks ago. Now I fixed it. Now it's much better. I'm
Yeah.
disappointed in you, Jerry.
Yeah, you know, that was really a cheap shot. I sometimes I'm just ashamed of myself, Grant.
Anyway, this part of the season heading into the break, I mean, good Lord, you can't really go into it any worse than you just did. And now I think everyone just needs to exhale a little bit for a couple of days, get away, exhale, and come back for whatever the day is they get back. I think Wednesday to get ready for the season again, maybe Tuesday night, but they got a nice little break from Wednesday until, let's say, Tuesday late in the day for a practice. Clear your mind, look in the mirror, you know, get ready and see what we can do here in the final 25 plus games.
Yeah, there's a lot can be accomplished, especially with the younger players. Because I mean, in the sense of determining really who may fit or not fit come next year. I mean, you know, certainly, and it goes with the coaching staff as well. I mean, there's a lot of things will be decided in the summer. So there's a lot of things to play for. And like I say, I think if you could come out of this and see consistent good play from the bigs, which you didn't see tonight. I thought this was one of the first games I've seen both Ryno and Cardwell not be a factor at all. So, but they've been pretty darn consistent. So I'll give them a pass.
Jerry, with a guy like Cardwell, where all the plays that guys normally foul, he doesn't, and then the plays you should never foul, he always fouls. Is that just something that is the film room and you hammer into his head, or how do you slow that down?
Well, I think that's a good point. I think you can slow that down. Like you say, he really is amazing how he protects the rim as well as he does without fouling more than he does. And then he gets the little silly ones. It reminds me a little bit, and Grant might remember this, but it reminds me a little bit of Jason Thompson, where he'd always make 2 or 3 just ridiculous fouls, and he never thought he did. And he didn't believe he did, but he did, you know, and overall, but his effort and everything was always great. He just wasn't a great player. But I mean, with Cardwell, it's a little bit of the same. The effort's tremendous. He plays awfully good defense in most possessions, and then we'll just make a silly foul.
Yeah.
Jerry, appreciate you. Enjoy your weekend of whatever, not having to talk to us, which is always a positive. So enjoy it. And we'll look forward to having you on next week.
Well, I'll be looking forward to it. And by the way, considering the game tonight, you guys by far the most enjoyable part of this basketball evening. Absolutely the best part of it.
You know, Jerry, I would be remiss if we didn't ask you, since we won't have you on again, any Valentine's Day plans, sir?
Well, just basically the same old thing. Sex. That's what we'll do. You know.
That's not allowed.
Okay. See you guys.
I don't even know what to say. I like it better when my microphone is to a point where you can't really hear me. See you, Jerry.
Oh my goodness. You know it's coming, but he just gives it to you in a different way every time. Well, pretty so. Oh my gosh, too funny. So, Grant, where do you think the guys are headed for All-Star break? If you had to
Away
guess.
from the Kings practice facility.
I know, but like Domantas Sabonis, where do you think he's going?
Napa.
Okay. Let's say Nick Clifford.
Probably back to Colorado State. You know,
Enough
a lot of the rooks like to go back and go to some college games to kind of get back into the college atmosphere. That's something you see a lot during the All-Star break.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
See if I can. You think Max has time to get back to France?
No,
Probably
not enough time.
Yeah.
I mean, I flew halfway around the world from Milwaukee to Thailand, but yeah, I guess he could, but well, you know, we'll see. I don't know.
All right. It's that time. We open it up to you if you want to call. All you got to do is scan the QR code above our shoulder, above my shoulder. You can also hit the link circulating in the chat. We're going to let Kazi get his picture set up. We want to make sure his place is not burning down. So we'll start tonight with Wade. What's up tonight, Wade?
Hey, Grant. Hey, Ryan. It's pretty hard to follow Jerry after what he said, but I'll try to do my best. First and foremost, I always, when these games are happening, I always feel bad for Baki. Just because of him getting up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and the basketball he has to watch now is subpar.
I don't even know if he is watching the games anymore. We haven't heard from him in a couple of weeks. If he might have gotten smart and stopped watching.
Yeah, it's tough when your favorite team is in the doldrums, but do you think that they are tanking or are they just bad? I think they're just bad.
Did you see who didn't play tonight for the Kings?
I saw that, but even when they play that, they were losing.
Okay.
I mean, Doug Christie's a bad coach.
Tonight, the game was over with 5 minutes gone by in the first quarter. 5 minutes into the game, it was over. The game was over.
Yeah.
They clearly played not to win the game tonight.
I think Adam Silver has a big problem. I feel like if David Stern was still alive, none of this would be happening. Absolutely none of it.
Wade, we talked about it on the radio today. This is way earlier than this usually happens.
And I heard that Vivek is he's renting an Airbnb. He's renting out the beam because we're not lighting it at all. So you get some timeshares for the beam. I'm kidding.
Maybe. We'll see. Who knows? Maybe the beam's the problem. Maybe they need to get rid of it. Like the Niners.
Yep. Pretty much.
Right. Thanks, Wade. You know, this is going to seem really harsh, Grant. Kazi, will come to you next. I have a really hard time calling this a team this year.
They're not a team. They're divided. It's been a disaster. And it is, I've told you all along what's going to happen step by step by step. Before it happened, I told you exactly what was going to happen. I told you then when it happens, I told you what was going to happen with the veterans. I told you that they would want out of Dodge and that then all of a sudden you would have an issue in the locker room where, you know, it's like, get me out of here. And then I told you what was going to happen after the All-Star break. And I'm still telling you what's going to happen after the All-Star break. You're not at rock bottom yet. Okay. I know you think you're at rock bottom. You're not at rock bottom yet.
Because they're going to win a couple games.
No, because nobody's going to no one is going to want to play the final 7 weeks of the season.
Oh, I disagree with you. If you're somebody,
I've been there. I'm just telling you right now. You can say all you want about the rookies' development and their growth. What's you can't filter out the negativity in a locker room that comes from within. It even affects the rookies. Now, will they want to play? They love playing, but they will not. They will be very much looking forward to the 82nd game of the year so that they can get out of there, get reloaded for next year, and move on. But it is not going to be fun, even for the young players. It's just not.
All right, fair enough. Interesting, in The Athletic, they updated the top buyout candidates. Should they be bought out? Guess who was number one, Grant?
I think you told me earlier today it was Mr. Westbrook, correct?
Mr. Westbrook. They have listed as the number one buyout option. Not that the Kings are going to do it, but if he became available, that would be the number one option. All right, Kazio.
I would do, Ryan.
I would too, Grant. Kaz, what's up, dude?
Yeah, this team, the Sacramento Kings are definitely not a team. Before the season ever even started, I had a very, very good feeling it was going to be a disaster. I felt like less than 18 wins. But I will be honest, like as the season began, I was like, oh, maybe they can get like 30. But obviously they're nowhere near going to get that. And God, I forgot what I was gonna say, but I'll say this. As far as like league expansion, I've heard that they're going to be voting this summer to expand to Seattle and Las Vegas.
It's a
So,
rumor. It's not confirmed yet. Maybe Adam Silver. He'll be asked that at his press conference for the All-Star game. But go ahead.
but if that were to occur, like, would they then maybe send like Memphis and New Orleans to the East to even out the conferences?
It is possible that they could make some alignment within the league. It is possible. It's also possible that Memphis won't be in Memphis anymore. I'm serious.
That's a shit down city.
I'm not kidding you. That franchise is probably the most likely to leave their city and go elsewhere. I could see Memphis not being in Memphis.
Wait, and Grant, hold on, because I guess you couldn't hear me yesterday when you
No,
brought
I'm
me
sorry.
on.
I could not. It was.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
So I heard that you've never had coffee in your life.
No,
Are you like allergic to it or something?
no. I just don't care for the taste.
Okay, I get you. Just rare gene. I got you. All right, you guys have a good rest of your night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kazi. Because when I first heard that, I'm
Don't
like,
make no sense.
it just did not register with me. Dirk, what's up, man?
What's up, guys? Rare camera appearance tonight.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, so I don't really want to talk about this game, but there was something that when Keon and Dennis both left, I never asked you guys about it, but it seemed that the first comments were about playing for a team that's sharing the ball. And I was surprised to hear that from Dennis, but Keon, it sort of makes sense. What do you think is the root cause of both of them feeling that way? Like, who is that person? Or what's the root of them not sharing the ball?
Ryan, what do you think?
It's pretty simple. Russell Westbrook, DeMar DeRozan, and Dennis Schroeder. That's three ball dominant players that should never usually be on the court at the same time. And all three at times were on the court to close games.
All right. And here's my answer. Doug Christie. He's the coach. He controls that. He controls who plays. And if they don't play the way he wants them to play, he needs to take them out of the game and find somebody that is. So it starts with coaching.
Yeah, it was Schroeder's comment too. So that's why I thought it was weird, because we've commented all season about how he just dominates the ball and shoots too much, and that was not the reason he was brought into this franchise. So if he's commenting that way, he's probably overreacting to something. So go ahead.
No, go ahead, Dirk.
Well, I was going to ask, Grant, do you think that Doug Christie's offense is he's just letting these vets, well, like not tonight, obviously, but is he just letting the vets run the show and make decisions when it's because he bows down to them?
That's what it looks like to me. I don't know if I would use the term bows down to them, but I think he has them in a circle that is trust. And I think a lot of respect, which might be the same as what you're saying, bows down to him. But I think his affection from a basketball coach to a player towards Russell Westbrook has gone above and beyond what he deserves at this point in his career based on how he has performed on the floor. I think it's ridiculous.
I think for some of the players, Dirk, and this has nothing to do with Schroeder, Westbrook, etc., but this has been like a trend going back to Kevin Huerter, where they didn't feel like the ball was being shared. And so it's not all of Doug's fault, but it is snowballed a lot more. In my opinion, I think Doug is empowering some of the vets a little bit too much to make reads, make plays, and at times they think they know better. Now, whether that means they're not listening or they don't respect what he's saying, Doug said it in a couple press conferences. We drew up a play. They just did something else at the end of the game. And when you have one Doug Christie, who's a first-time head coach on a bad team, and you've got a group of vets that combined have what, Grant, 60 years in the league, like you could very easily be, I don't know. I guess you can do what you want without much recourse.
Yeah. And Grant, I'll give you a shout out too. I was hoping that 2 games ago we saw a turnaround for Neek, maybe hit a shot. And you're like, consistency. I just thought he had found his consistency. And man, this was just an awful
Yeah,
shooting night.
Dirk, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was us, you and me, that got into this conversation after his really good game against the Clippers, I believe it was, where he had 30 points or what have you. And I made an example of Scal Labissiere, who
You did.
scored 32 in a game. And I understand that Nick's got better skills than Scal, but I don't really look at an individual game here and there. I look at the total body of work, because in the NBA, you always have a game that you just played and a game that you're getting ready to play very soon, except for during the All-Star break. And the reason why certain players play as starters and play in a regular rotation is because, by and large, you know what they're going to do every game. Now, they're going to have nights where they don't shoot the ball well, but by and large, there's a level of consistency where the numbers pan out over a 10-game stretch where you're like, okay, that player is giving me what I want during a 10-game stretch. Nick is nowhere near that right now offensively. Defensively, yes, but offensively, his game is so erratic and so inconsistent that I keep saying this, Dirk, I'm looking for consistency with him more than 30 points. I don't care if he scores 10 points every night, as long as it's a good 10 points. I want to see consistency from him. And his if you look at his graph, it's like a heartbeat, right? It's up and down. It's up and down. There's no consistency with him offensively. None.
No, you're right. And it's speaking to that as well, Grant. You said he lacks that speed, that first step. I'm trying to look at player comps, and I keep going back to Halliburton, who was not generally regarded as having a first step, but he's nowhere near Halliburton's playmaking skills. His shot has never been consistently, like, he's never had a good stretch, just like you're saying. So how is he going to achieve in this league? And unless he shows you some consistency now, and then you have some confidence, like he's honed in on what will make him an NBA level player. And it's just at this stage, offensively, you have to contribute more than he's doing. And I don't know, it's disappointing, but I mean, here's hoping he figures it out.
Let's hope Doug Christie keeps playing him the most out of anybody else. He had 38 minutes tonight.
But what did he, one for 15?
Mm-hmm.
It's not only 1 of 15. He didn't play well. He didn't. It wasn't just missing shots. I just didn't like his game, and I said the same thing the other night. After his really good game, the last game that he had, I just, I don't know. He's not a starter in the NBA. He's just not. He might be in a year or 2 or 3, but he's certainly nowhere near a starting. He's not a starting caliber player in the NBA. He's just not.
Grant, do you attribute, like, not beyond Neek, but when a guy's not having a bad shooting night, I kind of tend to watch where it's hitting on the rim. Is it consistently long, hitting the back of the rim, or is it short? Is it off to the left? He was all over the place to me tonight. Like, he just couldn't find any consistency. And that was Carter too, like his shots. So
short has been his problem. Up until his 30-point game, short is what they were working on and have been working on.
Maybe he needs a break. Who knows? Maybe it's that rookie wall.
Maybe he's going to get it, and he needs it. The whole team needs it. So do the fans.
The last thing I'll say is the only thing I'm looking forward to now is just hopefully we get to see some Keegan mixed with Cardwell. I want to see that double shot block defense. But anyway, thanks, guys.
Dirk, this team's making us gray, dude. The last time I saw you on camera, I wasn't as gray. You weren't as gray.
I think it's just bad lighting. There we go. There's the darkness.
All right, there we go.
See you guys.
All right, buddy.
Thank you, Dirk.
Thanks.
Appreciate you.
Oh my goodness. Well, we definitely know what Jerry Reynolds is going to be doing for Valentine's Day.
Come on, I don't want to have a nightmare tonight, but go ahead with your read.
But if we have to say Valentine's Day again, it's already too late. But go to Bennett's.com. Go check them out. Bennett's, 3 locations here in the greater Sacramento area: Roseville, Rockland, Howland, Fair Oaks. Prime cuts of seafood and steak. They've got weekend brunch too, not a dinner thing. Go do brunch for them. You can get $55, 2 entrees, bottle of champagne all at once. Check them out. Bennett'sRestaurants.com. Brian, thank you. Margot, thank you for helping me out for Valentine's Day.
Yes. Love it.
All right, let's move along. We go to Dawn. What's up, Dawn?
Hi guys, just wondering what you guys thought of the halftime show with the
That's not allowed.
Let's go to Joe D. What's up, Joe?
What's up, guys? Can you guys hear me?
Yep,
Yes,
we
go
got
ahead.
you.
Oh, this team is just so disappointing, isn't it? I agree with Dirk. I think the only exciting thing about this team is Keegan Murray coming back. Honestly, it's just hard to watch. It's really hard to watch this team. I agree with everything you guys have said, especially you, Grant. I don't understand Doug's love with the veterans. I just don't understand it.
I don't understand anything that Doug's done all year. I'm sorry, I just don't.
Me
I
neither.
think it's been a
And I
terrible
always,
job.
I
And I
always
know
say
people think I'm
my
being too
friends.
critical, but I'm sorry. I just from training camp, it's just nothing. It just doesn't. It's just awful. It's terrible. It's
Right.
terrible.
A lot of my friends are Warriors fans, and I just tell them that, he's not an NBA head coach. You've always said that, Grant, and I totally agree. I just don't think he's an NBA head coach. His rotations are inconsistent, and I just think it goes all the way to, it starts from the top with the owner who's
Yep.
laughing with the other opposing team when they lose at home. So, that's where it starts from, I feel. And it sucks because us Kings fans deserve better.
Amen, Joe.
Thank you guys
Thank
for
you.
taking my call. Yeah.
Appreciate it. By the way, Baki is with us, and we've gotten a message from him. Hello, Baki. We miss you, buddy. It's been a while.
Holy moly, Jim Bob Bowie.
You know Tedora is probably with him too. So
Yeah, there's been no holy moly Jim Bob Bowley this year.
I can't even think of really one time that I thought about holy moly Jim Bob Bowley, to be quite honest with you.
Man, it's been so bad, so bad. And it's again, I don't think we're at rock bottom. Hey, I want to tell you about New Works Plumbing. They've got a fix for you: water heaters, water line repair, sewer repair, water filtration, gas lines. Call the number on your screen or newworksplumbing.com. That's NEWWRXplumbing.com. New Works Plumbing, they've got a fix for you. Again, they are available around the clock 24/7. That's New Works Plumbing. They've got a fix for you.
Grant, how's this hit you? Oops, wrong one. The chat moves so fast. There we go. That's the one that I wanted. First year since 99 where I can't really watch the games. Kings were bad, but they tried to win and played hard and sweat. This year, they really checked out.
There are too many times they've checked out this year. There are too many times. There are too many times they've checked out. I wasn't expecting anything tonight when I saw who wasn't playing. And then we thought Markkanen wasn't going to play, and then he ended up playing. Jaren Jackson and him, they're going to be, if they keep them, that's a nice tandem, boy.
Oh, man. You're going to get in foul trouble with those two.
Oh, boy.
You
yes,
don't
you
have
are.
the size.
They dominated the Kings bigs tonight.
Yep, absolutely. Okay. Assuming Doug Christie's not going to be back, he's going to, just like tonight, I respect that he was coaching like it was a 1-point game when there's no time left on the clock or until there was no time off the clock. But if he kind of knows that too, can you turn your back, assuming this locker room is a little bit splintered, and by all accounts, it seems to be, can you turn your back a little bit to the vets and really focus in and hone in on the young guys and accomplish something?
You can, whether he'll do it or not. There's also going to be meetings with him and Scott Perry, and the owner is obviously involved with that. So it's going to be an organizational decision. But there's also part of the message around the NBA and other veterans when they become free agents. If you treat your veterans like dirt, right?
Right.
You're disrespectful to them. And what does that do to players that might want to come in Sacramento, which is already at a very low level? So there's a whole domino effect to this.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's a great question to ask. Let's go to Dorian. What's up, Dorian?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, Dorian.
Grant, Ryno, we've talked about this a little bit on the radio. I think there is this kind of, I mean, I don't know with this organization, right, with Sacramento, but Scott Perry has come out and he's said, okay, we have this plan till just give it a couple years, 2027, right? Be patient. Would you be surprised if Doug Christie is retained as a coach? And if he is, and if he's not, I know, Grant, you've talked about this on the radio. I don't know what the solution would be. Do you go the route of hiring a veteran coach and someone that has a lot of experience, or do you just try and go young where the
You
need
cannot
where the
hire a
trend-
coach that doesn't have NBA coaching experience for the next job. You just can't.
Yeah.
Cannot. Absolutely cannot.
But
Yeah,
I also think that if it was gonna be Mike Woodson, they would already make the move with Doug this season. Don't you think, Grant?
Not necessarily, because I think that for a veteran coach of Mike Woodson's stature, based on what he's done, I don't know if you would throw him into an impossible situation. And I don't think that Mike Woodson would want that situation. I don't think he would want to be taking over a ship that's already 99% underwater.
Okay. Good to know. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Dorian. Sorry.
I don't think Mike Woodson's the answer, but I wouldn't be surprised if Doug Christie is retained for another year because of the
I'd be
plan
shocked.
2027. You would be
I
shocked.
would be shocked. Shocked.
Yeah, Dorian, I don't think if you're going to have a top 4 pick, you cannot have Doug Christie as your coach. No disrespect. You cannot afford to mishandle that prospect in the slightest bit, because it could be the prospect this franchise has never had.
Yeah, and I agree with that, but just with the moves that this organization has made over the last years, I would not be surprised. Thanks, guys.
I'd
Appreciate
see
it.
Alvin Gentry coaching this team before Mike Woodson, if that ever came to it, to be honest with you.
Really? That's interesting. All right.
Thanks, guys.
Interesting. I mean, yeah. All right. Short leash veteran. What's up?
Hi guys. In terms of the salary cap, does that include BBL surgeries for Big Booty Martinez, or does that include something?
Idiot. Just an idiot. You know why you're an idiot? Because you put your name as veteran. Like, you are the scum of the earth if you are calling an internet show with your name as veteran, people that put their lives on the line for us to watch a show, do a show, and you're going to put veteran? Dude, you've got the worst karma ever. Enjoy it. What an idiot.
Amen.
Idiot.
Amen. I didn't say Alvin Gentry is going to be the coach. I said I believe that he might be, if you were going to go in that direction between Mike Woodson and him, that would be the direction. But I don't think either of those would be the coach if they decide to make a coaching change. Who do I like in the draft? I don't know yet. I haven't studied it enough. We're going to start getting into that next week on Fox Sports Sacramento. And of course, we'll carry the conversation here as well.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of coverage. Very interesting about Scott Pollard. Very, very interesting.
Yep, I can't wait to have him on. I talked to him. By the way, it's his birthday tomorrow. So everybody wish Scott a happy birthday. He is celebrating his 2-year anniversary of his heart transplant on the 16th.
Oh, wow.
So that's on Monday. 2 years. 2 years.
I literally remember sitting with you, Jerry, and Brian. Who was it? It was Brian Knight. We were all at lunch at Bennett's, and you were like, you know what? I'm gonna go catch the flight. We don't know. Like, Scott doesn't know that I'm coming. You didn't have an idea that he was going to be getting his heart.
Nope.
And I think about your friendship and the timing of that, and the fact that you got to see him. Like,
it was unbelievable. I'd already booked the ticket that week, planned on going, and then we actually talked he had a surgery on Friday, and we talked on Thursday, and I said, I need to tell you something. He goes, what's that? I said, I'm coming to Nashville, and I land in the morning, and I said, I've had this planned all week. I was going to surprise you, but now I won't be able to see you, but I'm still coming anyway just to give Dawn a hug. And he was like, man, he goes, you're unbelievable. We had a really, and I said, hey, man, I love you. I'm going to be with you. I'm praying for you. You're going to be fine. And I got to the hospital, Vanderbilt University Hospital, on Friday morning. I don't know, 8:30, 9 o'clock. I can't remember exactly the time. And I texted Dawn. I go, hey, there's no rush. I'm on the 5th floor, the cardiology intensive care unit. I said, don't worry about when you get here. I just want to say hello to you. And she goes, I'll be right there to get you. And I'm like, get me? And she comes up. I give her a big hug. She goes, come on. And I was in the room with Scott in intensive care, which was shocking to me that I didn't think there was any way in the world I was going to be in Scott's room. And then when I walked in, I was even more shocked that I had a coherent conversation with him where he had literally had his heart transplant hours ago. And I was having a full 18 hours ago. And I was sitting there having a full-fledged conversation with him and was there when he actually got up from bed, took a few steps and sat in a chair with all of the wires and everything hooked up to him. It was a very powerful scene. And what made it so powerful was there was a lot of praying going on in a very hard way to describe, because there was a lot of praying for the family of the victim in this case, who donated his heart so Scott could live. Because as joyful as it was for Scott and Dawn and their family, you knew that there was a family somewhere else in America that was grieving over the loss of their loved one. And as it turned out, Scott has met that family. And I mean, the fact that the individual's last name was Angel.
Yeah.
Like, that is just unbelievable. Casey Angel was the donor. He also donated some other organs, but like there were several times, and I was in the hospital room for about 2 hours, maybe a little longer, maybe a little, but and there were several times where that was brought up and there was prayer going on for that family.
Damn.
Yeah.
Go back.
I mean, yeah.
Scott was on the channel. Make sure that you subscribe so you can catch stuff like this besides the post game show.
Yep.
But Scott was on, and you guys had an incredible conversation.
And he'll be on Fox Sports Radio next week with us. He'll be on Fox Sports Sacramento, Ryan. I think I'm going to have him on Tuesday, or I think it's Tuesday. Yeah, right there. There's 104.7 FM, 890 AM. Be sure and download the Fox Sports KSAC app. You can listen right on your phone wherever you are.
Yep, completely for free too. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
All right, buddy. I think we've.
By the way, I do agree with this. OP is a breath of fresh air to listen to your radio show. He has good perspectives on today's NBA. He's humorous. He's got a good personality. Ryno, I think the guy does a great job.
Yeah, he gives you a unique personality.
Yes.
It's not directly from what you would expect from a past player, but then you get stuff like today mixed in, those stories where it's like, oh, you're Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
And he's not afraid. He's not afraid to tell it like it is. That is for sure. Hey, Sunrise 100%. Landing in Calusa. The models to choose from are beautiful. There are 6 in all. And remember, this is a Blazona development project. It is adjacent to the Calusa Golf and Country Club. It's easy to get to because there's access on I-5, Highway 45, Highway 20. That's right. It's Sunrise Landing. And if you go to CalusaSunrise.com, that's CalusaSunrise.com, you can get all of the information on Sunrise Landing. They're moving along with their phases. They do have a couple of lots available still, and these models are beautiful. CalusaSunrise.com, adjacent to the Calusa Golf and Country Club. Check it out by going to CalusaSunrise.com.
Well, what are you going to do for your All-Star break?
Well, I'm not watching any of the All-Star weekend. I'm going to watch a lot of the Olympics, Olympic hockey, and get into that. So I'm looking forward to that. You will be doing a show on President's Day. Yep. So I'm looking forward to that. You'll be sitting in a holiday in my chair for your 3 hours, Monday, 3 to 6. So remember that, everybody. Ryno's going to be in the big chair on Monday from 3 to 6.
Looking forward to it. Thank you for trusting me with the chair. Take care of it. We'll get the airplane up and down.
Not even worried about it. Not even worried about it. The only thing I'm worried is you take my job. Other than that, I'm not worried.
No, that won't happen. That is not going to happen anytime soon, my friend.
All right. To everyone else, thank you very much. Thank goodness that there are no Kings games for a while, because I think we all need a break. I do. That's for sure. But we appreciate you, your support. And tomorrow, 3 o'clock, Fox Sports.